After the son of my husband's childhood sweetheart failed his college entrance exams, he smashed the car I had bought for our daughter to celebrate her university acceptance. His mother then posted a video of it online, captioned, "The confidence that comes from having your childhood love. Feeling down? Just smash a car." My husband commented below, "If you're happy, what's a smashed car?" Instantly, they were hyped up by netizens as the most extravagant childhood sweethearts. After she earned a small fortune from the publicity, she bought her son a car. I retaliated by having someone smash her car and remove its wheels. My husband came to confront me, fuming. Her son didn't get into college, so what if he smashed a car out of anger? Pay Zinlin back for the car immediately and post a video apology. Otherwise, we're getting a divorce. I sneered, pulling the long-prepared divorce papers from the cabinet. Fine, sign it. My husband's eyes widened, unable to believe I would bring up divorce. It's just a stupid car. Are you really going to fall out with me over something so trivial? Yang Zinlin and I grew up together. Her son is heartbroken about failing his exams, so what's wrong with smashing a car to vent his frustration? Why are you being so petty? Petty? Hearing that, I lost my patience and slammed the divorce papers on the table. That was Kinking's gift for getting into the Beijing Dance Academy. You know how hard she worked for this. How am I supposed to explain this to her now? When my daughter was preparing for the entrance exam, she broke her arm during dance practice in the first year. But she went back to class before it had even fully healed, staying in the dance studio until late every night. As her parents, we saw all her hard work. My husband's face paled, his lips trembling. I didn't realize it was Kinking's car. Zinlin was drunk and acted impulsively. She's not usually like that. Even now, Chu Jing's was still making excuses for Yang Zinlin. So because her son failed to get into college, my daughter has to pay the price for his failure. I let out a cold laugh, my body trembling at the thought of Kinking eagerly awaiting her new car. She made 200,000 yuan from that viral video and bought her son a car with it. How do you think Kinking felt when? Before I could finish, the office door swung open and Kinking skipped in happily. "Mom, where's my 718? Can I take a little peek?" Her eyes were sparkling, and seeing that look of anticipation made my heart ache. "What car?" Chu Jing's cut in before I could speak. "You're a college student. What does it look like, driving a car like that to school? People who don't know better will think you have a sugar daddy." Hearing her own father's words, our daughter's smile froze on her face. Her bright eyes, once filled with anticipation and excitement, were now just stunned. She looked at Chu Jing's, her voice trembling almost imperceptibly. "Dad, what did you just say?" Chu Jing seemed to realize his mistake, but he avoided Kinking's gaze, his tone still harsh. I said, "It's not appropriate for a student like you to drive such a flashy car to school. It'll start rumors." "Rumors? A sugar daddy." Kinking's voice trembled. "Dad, that was Mom's gift for my university acceptance. It's my reward for getting into the Beijing Dance Academy. It's something I earned with my own hard work. How could you? How could you say that about me?" As she spoke, tears streamed down her face. Chu Jing's pressed his lips together and glanced at me. I pulled out a couple of tissues for my daughter and led her out of the office. "Don't listen to your father. The car is still getting its protective film. Didn't you want frozen berry pink? We can't pick it up until next week." My daughter looked up at me, her eyes brimming with tears. "Mom, you can't lie to me." I nodded. "Go home now. Your dad's in a bad mood today. I'll talk to him." Kinking's tears turned to a smile, and she nodded emphatically. Back in the office, Chu Jing's was still standing in the same spot. "Tongzai," he began, his voice deliberately softened. I was too hasty just now. I spoke too harshly." I didn't respond, walking back to my desk and sitting down. Seeing that I was unmoved, Chu Jing's took a couple of steps forward. "Let me apologize to you and Kinking on their behalf, okay? She's raising Junjun all by herself and her financial situation. You know how it is, they've always struggled. It's not easy for her. Can't we just think of it as helping a widow and her orphan son?" Tears welled up in Chu Jing's eyes. "Or, can you just do it for my parents' sake?" My heart skipped a beat. Chu Jing's parents had saved my life. Years ago, my mother's business dealings angered the wrong people, and I was kidnapped and left in the mountains. It was Chu Jing's parents who found me and rescued me. It was because of this debt of gratitude that I married Chu Jing's and had our daughter. At the mention of them, I sighed. "Fine, I won't press legal charges. She can pay me back in installments, but she has to delete the video. I don't want Kinking to see that her father let someone smash her new car." The sound of the door closing echoed in the room. I leaned back in my chair. For the sake of that debt, and to shield my daughter from deeper hurt for now, I had compromised once again. The following days were indeed peaceful. The damned car smashing video disappeared. Yang Zinlin's account, the most extravagant childhood sweethearts, went silent. Chu Jing's also became more restrained, avoiding any mention of Yang Zinlin and her son at home, and even trying to act more caring in front of Kinking. The next week, I had the dealership rush a new car, paying an extra $200,000 to make sure my daughter saw her Porsche 718 on the promised day. Seeing her happy expression, I thought perhaps that whole farce was truly over. Until that afternoon, I went to the finance department to handle a document. As I approached the door, I heard several young female employees huddled together, chattering at a phone screen. Wow, this childhood sweetheart couple is so sweet. It's like a real-life drama. I know, right? Look at this latest post. The way they look at each other is electric. It's sickeningly sweet. Yes, the most extravagant childhood sweethearts. They've updated again. Quick look. The most extravagant childhood sweethearts. I froze. Forcing myself to remain calm, I casually moved closer, my eyes scanning the lit-up phone screen of one of the girls. The familiar short video platform, the glaring account picture and name. The account was still active and still posting. I practically stumbled out of the finance department and back to my office. I opened the app and typed in the most extravagant childhood sweethearts. The follower count was even higher than when the car smashing video went viral. But when I looked at it from my own account, the page was empty. It was filled with romantic videos. Chu Jing's face wasn't shown, but his hand, accidentally revealed, was unmistakably his. When I scrolled to the latest update, the thumbnail was a familiar frozen berry pink 718. Yang Zinlin and her son were posing endlessly with it. The caption read, "A love my childhood sweetheart can always deliver." Some videos were even suggestive, showing her in pajamas on a bed or in a bathrobe in front of a mirror. A few were even filmed in my house. The comments were increasingly painful to read. OMG, what kind of super rich family is this? Childhood sweethearts getting their happy ending is so beautiful. I believe in love again. This is true, enduring love. The rich childhood sweethearts from novels brought to life. But as my anger boiled, a sudden calm washed over me. He had completely eroded any trust I had left in him. Looking out the window, I let out a deep breath. If this was how it was going to be, then we needed to be clear. For our daughter's sake, we could stay married but live separate lives. Kinking was about to leave for university in a few days if we suddenly divorced. I sighed, suddenly understanding how so many relationships limp along on the phrase, for the kids, just coexisting as partners. The day for Kinking to report to the Beijing Dance Academy finally arrived. She was as excited as a child, waking up early and dressing meticulously. She twirled in front of the mirror several times, her eyes shining. "Mom, do I look okay? I want to make a good impression on my first day." "You look beautiful. My daughter looks beautiful in anything." I praised her sincerely, though a pang of guilt hit me. A sudden emergency at the company meant I couldn't go with her. "Where's Dad? Didn't he promise to take me?" Kinking looked at the time, getting anxious. I picked up my phone and dialed Chu Jing's number. It rang for a long time before he answered, the background noise chaotic. "Hello, Tongzai." Chu Jing's voice sounded distracted. "Kinking is going to be late for registration. Where are you? Didn't you promise to go with her?" I tried to keep my voice steady. "Huh, registration?" He seemed to have just remembered, his tone carrying a hint of perfunctory apology. "Oh, shoot, I'm tied up with something urgent here, a very important client. You should go with her or she can go by herself. She's a college student now, she needs to be independent." Just then, a woman's voice came through the phone clearly. "Jings, the shrimp paste is cooked, hurry and get it. Junjun, get some for your Uncle Chu." It was followed by Yang Zinlin's son's voice. "Uncle Chu here." Rage shot through me, but I forced it down. I couldn't lose it in front of my daughter. I took a deep breath and said coldly into the phone, "I see. You handle your business." Then I hung up. "Mom," Kinking's eyes dimmed with disappointment and hurt. "Dad's not coming again, is he?" I nodded. "For registration, I'll have brother Tai go with you. If you need anything, just tell him." Ah Tai was my bodyguard. I had specifically told him to wear casual clothes. A black suit would be too conspicuous. Kinking nodded obediently and went to the garage to get her car. The registration went smoothly. Seeing the photos my daughter posted online filled my heart with joy. She had finally made it to her dream university. At first, Kinking would message me constantly, chattering about how happy she was at her new school. But gradually, her messages became less frequent, and a few times on the phone, I noticed her mood was off. When I pressed her, Kinking was silent for a few seconds, and then I heard her suppressed sobs. Mom, I don't want to go to school anymore, they're all cursing at me, wah, I can't take it, I want to come home. Kinking was crying too hard to form complete sentences, just repeating over and over, they're cursing at me. Online, so many people are cursing at me, saying wah. She seemed unable to say the words. I immediately called my assistant to investigate. When my assistant returned, her face was grim. I took the phone. On the screen was that all too familiar account, the most extravagant childhood sweethearts. The latest video's title was glaring. Beijing Dance Academy freshman arrives with sugar daddy escort, dropped off in luxury car, behind the innocent facade. One shot, maliciously edited with suggestive captions and sound effects, captured the moment Kinking, lost, had turned to speak quietly with Ah Tai. The comments below, fueled by the malicious framing, were even more vile. Beijing Dance Academy, more like a training camp for mistresses, if you know what I mean. She looks so innocent, but she's just selling herself. These days, you can't even get into an art school without a sugar daddy, can you? Can I get the sugar daddy's contact info? I'd like to skip 20 years of hard work too. How can someone like her get into the BDA? Expel her immediately. Don't pollute the school. The video's likes and shares were skyrocketing. I gripped the phone so tightly my knuckles turned white, my vision blurring. Tabloid accounts, chasing the traffic from the most extravagant childhood sweethearts, were reposting it, making the rumors even more outrageous. I called Chu Jing's immediately, but to my shock, as soon as I told him to make Yang Xinlin delete the video, he turned on me. Who told you to buy Chu Zhuking such a flashy car? Now look, you've caused a scene. Are you satisfied? My hands were shaking as I typed. Kinking is not the one at fault. The one at fault is Yang Xinlin for spreading rumors. Right now, this instant, delete the video and make Yang Xinlin apologize to Kinking. But I never expected Chu Jing's to scoff. Do you know how viral this video is right now? Traffic is money. Xinlin just managed to get her popularity back. She's counting on this to pay off her debts. Delete it? You want her to starve. Pay off her debts? My voice began to tremble. Why should my daughter's reputation be used to pay for her debts? Your daughter, Lin Tongxi, Kinking is my daughter too. Chu Jing's voice suddenly rose. Don't you think it hurts me? But it's already happened. Xinlin said the hype will die down. Netizens just want something new. In a couple of days, who will even remember who she is, if she just endures it? Endure it? I cut him off sharply. Chu Jing's, how do you expect Kinking to endure this? What did she do wrong? Was it getting into a good university? Or was it obtaining something your precious sweetheart's son dreamed of but couldn't get? There was a moment of silence on the other end. I'm telling you, I said, enunciating each word, I will handle the trending topics. I will have every single one of those slanderous videos and posts deleted. As for you and Yang Xinlin, I hung up and sent a message to my assistant. Announce my divorce from Chu Jing's. Send a court summons to everyone who spread the rumors. You were merciless, so don't blame me for being ruthless. Since you want to build a childhood sweetheart persona, I'll help you do it. I immediately contacted the company's public relations department. The maliciously edited video of my daughter was playing on the conference room projector. The number of vile comments was still climbing. The head of PR frowned. Ms. Lin, the other party has bought a lot of bots. The situation is spreading too fast. I want every post deleted from the entire internet within 24 hours. My voice was so hoarse I barely recognized it. The legal department will contact the platform's legal teams directly. PR will prepare a clarification video. My finger swiped across the screen, over a picture of Yang Xinlin with her arm around my husband's back. My throat tightened. Dig up all her dirt. The origin of the car smashing incident and those videos of Chu Jing's. Ms. Lin, if we do that. He was willing to trade his own daughter's reputation for money. I cut him off, the memory of Kinking's sobs on the phone making my eyes burn. Is there anything I can't do? A storm suddenly broke outside. The entire company building was lit up all night. I paid triple for overtime. No matter what, I was going to make Chu Jing's and Yang Xinlin pay. At 3 in the morning, I stared at the rapidly climbing trending topics. Lin's Corp chairman announces divorce. Alleged sugar baby at BDA, confirmed as Lin's Corp heiress Chu Juking. Most extravagant childhood sweethearts expose male partner cheating. I could hear Chu Jing's shouting from outside. Lin Tongxi, get your ass down here. You'd better explain this to me. I walked to the floor-to-ceiling window and saw him standing at the company's main entrance, completely soaked. A security guard was blocking him impassively. Ms. Lin has given instructions. You need an appointment to enter. An appointment? I'm her husband. Chu Jings shoved the guard's hand away. Get her out here. How could she do this? This is illegal. My phone was vibrating wildly on the desk. Over 50 missed calls and hundreds of messages. Lin Tongxi, are you insane? Are you trying to ruin our whole family? King will hate you for this. I don't agree to a divorce. The rain outside grew heavier, and Chu Jing's voice blurred with the thunder. My daughter sent me a message. Mom, thank you. I support whatever decision you make. Lin's Corp released an official statement and a lawyer's letter immediately. The entire internet was shaken. The next day, the most extravagant childhood sweethearts account was flooded. Yang Xinlin tried to delete the videos, but netizens had already saved screenshots. Our PR team also released an explanation for the car smashing video that had gone viral. Netizens finally learned that the car was a gift from me to my daughter for her university acceptance. Public opinion shifted instantly. The comment sections on Yang Xinlin's and Chu Jing's accounts were filled with curses. Using an innocent girl's reputation for money. Absolutely disgusting. This guy calls himself a father, defending his mistress while his daughter is being cyberbullied. Someone should check if he's the real father. While investigating Chu Jing's, I uncovered something unexpected. In that moment, I went numb. I stared at the bank transfer record on the computer screen, my fingers trembling uncontrollably. On a remittance slip from 20 years ago, the familiar account holder's name was Chu Jing's father. So the debt of gratitude that had bound me for half my life was a lie. Chu Jing's father had also been in business, but his capital chain broke, and he was deeply in debt. At that time, my mother's business was booming, so he set his sights on me. He borrowed money to hire thugs to kidnap me and take me to the mountain near their old house. It was all a lie. I called my assistant. Inform the legal department. Add charges against Chu Jing's parents for extortion and criminal fraud. Just as I hung up, my phone rang again. I stared at the flashing caller ID before finally answering. Lin Tongxi, do you have to be so ruthless? Chu Jing's voice was choked with tears. My parents found out we're divorcing and collapsed. They're in the hospital. Are you that heartless? They saved your life. I laughed coldly. Chu Jing's, why don't you ask your father who that 500,000 yuan payment 20 years ago was for? Who was he paying for their silence? The other end of the line went dead silent. I could only hear Chu Jing's ragged breathing. After a long pause, he finally spoke. What are you talking about? I don't understand. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I stared at the gloomy sky outside, the terror of being trapped in that cave 20 years ago suddenly flooding back. Tell your father to turn himself in. Otherwise, the evidence I have is enough to put your entire family in prison for a very long time. Lin Tongxi, don't you forget, King is my daughter too. Chu Jing suddenly raised his voice. If you dare make this a bigger mess, I'll let King know what a cold-blooded person her mother is. Shut up, I slammed my hand on the desk. What right do you have to mention King? From the moment you allowed Yang Xinlin to use her reputation for money, you were no longer worthy of being a father. Before he could say another word, I hung up and blocked his number. Under the immense legal pressure and PR offensive from Lin's Corp, the major platforms reacted swiftly. Within hours, all infringing content was deleted, and the most extravagant childhood sweethearts account was permanently banned. The tabloid accounts that had jumped on the bandwagon all issued apologies, some even shutting down overnight. The false rumors about King online receded like the tide. At the same time, the Beijing Dance Academy released an official statement. It not only detailed that King's admission process was fully compliant with regulations, but also attached evidence of her years of hard work and achievements. The school sternly condemned the malicious slander and stated it would fully support King in defending her rights. However, a desperate Yang Xinlin was not ready to give up. She started a live stream, trying to gain sympathy by playing the victim. On camera, she looked haggard. I admit smashing the car and slandering her was wrong, but Lin Tongxi is trying to destroy us completely. She held up a crumpled piece of paper. This is my son's diagnosis. He's become depressed because of this. Can't you people just leave us alone? But netizens weren't buying it anymore. Someone posted photos of her son partying at a nightclub. The comment section was instantly flooded with insults. Stop pretending. Using your child as a shield, disgusting. You brought this on yourself, and now you're playing the victim. The live comments scrolled by furiously. Yang Xinlin's face turned pale, and she hastily ended the stream. As for Chu Jing's, under the combined pressure of public condemnation, divorce, and legal liability, he completely broke down. He came to the company again, this time without his previous arrogance, his eyes filled with despair and fear. Tongxi, I'm begging you, for the sake of our years of marriage, please let my parents go. His voice trembled. I was wrong, I truly know I was wrong. I looked at him coldly, any past feelings long since eroded by his actions. Chu Jing's, do you think a simple "I was wrong" can erase the harm done to Kinking? I threw the stack of evidence in front of him. All these years, out of gratitude to your parents, I tolerated everything. But how did you treat me? How did you treat Kinking? He reached for me, but the bodyguard stopped him. You can't be so heartless, he cried. My parents are still in the hospital, if they... Stop using your parents as an excuse. I cut him off. The kidnapping 20 years ago, you think I don't know? I watched the color drain from his face as I said, word by word, the law will deliver a just verdict to everyone, including you, including Yang Xinlin, and including your parents. Chu Jing's collapsed to the floor, his eyes vacant, muttering something to himself. I turned and left without a second glance. The video of Kinking's audition, released by the Beijing Dance Academy, instantly gained her countless fans. In the video, Kinking, dressed in a performance costume, was vibrant and agile with every smile and glance, her technique nearly flawless. Oh my God, what kind of divine hang time is that? She's flying people. Ah, sister, please start your own social media account. I want to be your first fan. People urged my daughter to start her own video account, but she posted on Weibo, thank you all for your support, but I just want to focus on dancing. I'll update my daily life on Weibo, but I have no plans to become a content creator for now. Thank you for the love. Someone made a compilation of her stage performances over the years, which was even reposted by a professor from the academy with the caption, True talent fears no slander. Outside Chu Jing's parents' hospital room, a crowd of netizens gathered. The attending physician had to come out and clarify. The two elderly patients only experienced blood pressure fluctuations. They did not collapse from anger as rumored online. The day the court summons was delivered, Chu Jing's cornered Kinking at the door. His eyes were dark and sunken, his hand trembling as he grabbed her wrist. Kinking, please talk to your mom for me. Dad really knows he was wrong. Kinking took a step back, her gaze calm. Dad, you always said I had a sugar daddy, but you were spending mom's money to raise someone else's child. She shook his hand off. You don't deserve to be my father. 3 months later, the atmosphere in the courtroom was somber. Yang Xinlin stood in the defendant's box with her head down, her former arrogance replaced by utter dejection. When the judge read the verdict, finding her guilty of provoking trouble and defamation and sentencing her to 3 years in prison, her legs gave out, and she nearly collapsed. She was also ordered to pay a total of $8 million in compensation to Lin's Corp and Chu Zhuking. Chu Jing's did not escape justice either. In court, his lawyer tried to argue that he was unaware and deceived. But when Lin's Corp's legal team presented the chat logs and transfer records between him and Yang Xinlin, all his defenses crumbled. In the divorce settlement, due to his severe misconduct, he was forced to leave the marriage with nothing and was held partially liable for the compensation. The moment he walked out of the courthouse, he was swarmed by reporters and could only cover his face with his hands. The once famous, the most extravagant childhood sweethearts account was now a cautionary tale online. If you're happy, what's a smashed car? Became an infamous meme. Chu Jing's wrote me several letters after he went to prison, but I threw them all in the trash. 4 years passed in a flash. My daughter stood on her graduation stage, the auditorium lights dimmed, and the audience held its breath. A single spotlight fell on the stage, revealing Kinking in a flowing, ink wash-colored dance costume. The seats were full, and waves of applause washed over the hall. I sat in the front row, my eyes welling up. The little girl who had once cried and wanted to drop out of school because of cyberbullying had now grown into the most dazzling star on stage. After the performance, the university president personally presented Kinking with 2 major awards, Outstanding Graduate and Outstanding Graduation Project. Seeing my daughter's confident smile on stage, I was invited to speak as a parent representative. Standing in the spotlight, I looked out at the audience, my eyes filled with pride. I want to thank the Beijing Dance Academy for nurturing my daughter, Chu Zhuqing, and I want to thank everyone who has supported her. She once suffered from malicious slander, and I am so glad that my daughter was strong, and I am grateful that the Academy was willing to speak up for her. After the event, as Kinking and I were packing up backstage, we heard a commotion at the door. I looked up and saw Chu Jing standing there. His eyes were tear-filled, his hair was a mess, and his clothes were wrinkled. He was a shadow of his former, dashing self. His gaze, full of remorse, was fixed on Kinking. Kinking, Chu Jing's voice was hoarse. He wanted to step forward but didn't dare. Dad was wrong, can you forgive me? Kinking's body tensed slightly. She turned her back to him, refusing to look at him. I walked to my daughter's side, shielding her behind me, and looked at Chu Jing's coldly. What are you doing here? Chu Jing's dropped to his knees with a thud, sobbing uncontrollably. Tonxi, I know I was wrong. I'm sorry to both of you, I'm so sorry to Kinking. I've regretted it every single day. I can't sleep, I can't eat. Every time I close my eyes, all I see is the disappointment in Kinking's eyes. He looked up, his face streaked with tears, and pleaded with Kinking. Daughter, Dad really knows he was wrong. Just give me one more chance. I promise I'll treat you well from now on. I'll never let you suffer any grievance again. A chance? Kinking suddenly spun around, her eyes filled with disappointment and anger. When you let Yang Xinlin smash my car, when you watched online as those people cursed at me, did you ever consider my feelings? You hurt me again and again for your so-called childhood sweetheart. What's the point of saying all this now? Chu Jing shook his head desperately, reaching out to grab the hem of Kinking's clothes. I was out of my mind then. I was fooled by Yang Xinlin. I really didn't know things would turn out like that. Your grandparents know they were wrong too. They blame themselves every day, and their health is getting worse. Don't bring Grandma and Grandpa into this. Kinking cut him off, her voice choked with emotion. You think I don't know? When Mom was kidnapped all those years ago, they didn't save her, they planned it. They would do anything for money. Chu Jing's face turned deathly pale. He staggered back a few steps, nearly falling. You know. Yes, I know everything, Kinking sobbed. From the moment you let Yang Xinlin spread those rumors, you were no longer my father in my heart. All these years, you've only cared about Yang Xinlin and her son. When have you ever truly cared about me? Looking at Chu Jing's despairing face, I felt not a shred of pity. He had tested my limits time and again, hurting the daughter we both loved. Now, he was reaping what he had sown. Chu Jing's, you brought all of this upon yourself, I said, my tone icy. It's over between us, and Kinking will no longer acknowledge you as her father. You should take care of yourself. With that, Kinking and I turned and walked away. Chu Jing's cries echoed behind us, gradually swallowed by the noise of the crowd. Outside the theater, the sunlight was warm. In the distance, the sunset painted the sky in brilliant shades of red. The light Kinking radiated on stage was dazzling and bright. The shadows of the past had dissipated, and waiting for us was a new future, full of hope.